changed because they didn't use that roster when we played last week. But I think everything else should be fine.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, cool. Let's do it, lads. All right. Hi, I'm Joe or Joe Chrism, and I'm the ADC for Enclave. Yeah, I've been around in the UK scene for a while.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Durigs. My name is Jaws. I'm a League of Legends caster, Overwatch caster from the UK. I'm currently doing EUCS and UK Masters. Yeah, that's about it.
Hey guys, I'm Daruk. I'm a coach for XL and an analyst for Wind and Rain. And that's all I got going for me right now, too.
Oh wait, Dom, people are saying they can't hear you.
They cannot hear you, unfortunately. So we just introduced ourselves out of the blue.
I can't see your webcam on Skype either. I'm just taking a picture of your beautiful face.
He's getting it sorted, guys. It's alright.
This is UK production right here.
Right, I should be okay now. Can everyone hear me? Let's see.
Don't know, I'm not watching the stream.
I'm just bringing it up now.
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
Okay, alright, let's do that again. Hi guys, it's Tom here from Esports News UK. Oh dear, UK technicality there, but basically I've got the guys to introduce themselves, and I was just starting to say that UK Masters, I've sort of been enjoying it, this split. I think the format's pretty cool. We've got some new teams emerging, new orgs coming in, so it gives us a chance to look at some of the new players and analyse what's been going on, and just to have a chat, really, an informal chat about who we think's going to do well and how everyone's matching up. So if you want, guys, we can start with Barrage. So they're obviously have come in new. I'm just bringing up the rosters now.
I'm pretty sure they just changed jungler, right?
Did they change
they don't have
jungler
range
too?
Expire. Yeah, like he posted on Twitter saying he was leaving.
Yeah,
so
I updated our post. I'm gonna...
I think I know who they've got, but I don't even know if I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, no, it was announced.
Awkward.
It was Fred.
Oh,
Daddy
okay.
Fred,
yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, that's him.
Daddy Fred?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the guy, but yeah, he's come in. They're also changing their ADC, I think.
Yeah, because they weren't using Twisted Fate. They're using Relson, I think. Last week, anyway.
I believe so.
Right. Okay.
I guess they're switching it up again.
What do you got? What are your guys' thoughts on them? How they've done this week? I'm just bringing up the results now.
So they played it. Who did they play against?
So they played
against us.
XL, wasn't it? Yeah, XL.
Yeah, they got they did okay. I think at best is what you can put that. I mean, XL's a pretty stacked roster in terms of like just going by names. I think they're probably one of the. You could argue probably one of the weakest teams, but have a lot of room to improve.
Mm.
Yeah.
I definitely think they're the weakest team. I think, especially since they lost their jungler. I don't know how good Daddy Fred is. Maybe he is like jungle daddy, but I think at the moment they're probably the weakest roster in the tournament.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit! I just had to go let someone in the house. I'll be like 1 minute.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I said like they've got a lot of room to improve there, and I guess this is their opportunity to let the rest of the UK know who they are as individual players and kind of just make a more of a name for themselves coming into it. Even if they are the weakest team, it doesn't really matter in that regard, just because they're in such a prestigious UK event, you know, like this is the biggest league of League of Legends in the UK. So even if they're not well known now, they'll be a little bit more known later down the line.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. Well, in a way, it's that Range Expire's moved. It's after one game. I know he's still team manager.
All right, we back, boys.
No worries, mate. So yeah, Range Expire. He's moved to team manager, and then you've had two players sort of swap out. Do you think that's going to make much of a difference, or do you expect them to pick up any points this split?
I think that was probably the best time to swap them out at the start of the season, right? You don't want to like swap out them halfway through, and I think XL was going to be one of their toughest competitions anyway. So it makes sense them swapping people out now, and just they got XL out the way, and now they can face other teams that aren't going to just crush them as hard, you know, and just kind of build up the synergy from there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they've still got to play like Eminem and
that's
Enclave,
true.
Enclave gaming as well.
All right.
Oh dear.
Cool. Okay, I'll move on to the next team, guys. Unless there's anything else you want to add on to Barrage, because I'll try and give like 10 minutes or less to each team if there's sort of eight teams to get through. Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that should be fun.
Bulldog. They picked up. They lost to Nerd Rage 2-0 in the week. I think Bulldog have a couple of good players. Jet, Moon in the mid lane. Fax as well. Even Raisins is experienced in the UK scene. What are you guys' thoughts on Bulldog and how well they can do?
I mean, I watched the series last week or this week, the one they played. I thought they didn't show up, to be honest. I thought they didn't play as well as they did in qualifying games. I mean, apart from, I think the bot lane looked quite strong. Like Fax and Raisins, I remember they killed their counterparts like solo 2v2 a few times. But apart from that, like their macro wasn't that good. I think they can play a lot better than they did.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. You go first.
Okay. I think Bulldogs have looked really weak for what I expected them to be like, because not only did they get their roster sorted several weeks before everyone else, because I was contacted by them to coach their roster, and on top of that, it took them 4 qualifiers. They only qualified in the last tournament, and then they played, I think, extremely poorly in that last series against Nerd Rage. Because I do agree, I think they've got quite a few really solid players. I think their AD carry is quite talented. And I think Raisins has been enough around the scene that he's got experience that a lot of players don't have.
Yeah.
But just the way they've been playing their games, it seems like they don't have any direction. Kind of everyone does. I don't know if they're getting along or anything, but it just seems everyone's in their own world and they just fall apart like 15 minutes.
Also, Nutri, like 1v9s popped off both games.
Yeah.
So it's quite impressive.
That was their main problem.
Shout out to my boy Billy.
I think Jet is quite untested in terms of like the UK as a whole and like better junglers in that regard, because he's played in the Newell obviously for ages, and I don't think there was anybody that could really stand up to him in the Newell, at least in the jungle role. And now he's like in the overarching UK scene more now, and like you're coming up against even some foreign like players as well. You look at kind of Eminem, they've got energy from Sweden, and Norway, sorry. And you're thinking, okay, so now he's actually coming into it quite as a little bit of an underdog, a little bit of a meme there, Bulldog the underdog, but he's going to have to kind of,
whatever you do.
He's going to have to put his weight a little bit more, I think, and then the rest. I think the rest of the team can follow up, because I do agree. Fax and Raisins are pretty good in the bot lane. It's just Nutri, like you said, Joe, was just like literally 1v9ing, like Niddy, Iceborne Gauntlet, like what Athenes as well he bought. It was just like, okay, this is not a troll build, but like you would never see this unless you're like straight up crushing. So I think if Jet pulls his weight a little bit more, I think their team's actually going to stand a chance.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'd be interested to see how Nucci does against like some of the strongest junglers in the scene. See how that goes.
I have to be honest, guys. I didn't get a chance to watch all of the matches this week. Just with work, I've been super busy, and then the little one in the evenings looking after him as well. So that's partly why I brought you guys on board to help with that. And if there's anyone watching that wants to help with some like analysis pieces and things like that, more in-depth pieces, I'll be happy to talk to you, because I don't want to do just results articles, but at the same time it takes a lot of time, you know, if you're doing sort of in-depth analysis and things like that. So yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. Looking at the roster on paper, I think they've got some good individual players, and for whatever reason they don't seem to be gelling that well. I know, like you said, Nucci had a really good game as well, but they'll get other opportunities, you know,
I agree,
to go toe-to-toe with other orgs, I think, this split. So I think
I mean, Nerd Rage are one of the strongest teams in the league, IMO, so it was like a hard opponent, I guess, for the first week.
True.
Should we do predictions for the teams then, guys? We've said that we've kind of agreed that Barrage may be one of the weakest. So we put Barrage as 8 for... I don't mean to be harsh, but, you know...
Yeah, I'd put Barrage as 8.
So Bulldog, where would you guys go for? Because they were just below or mid-table, I think, for the ESL Prem last split.
Well, that's a good point, because I think in this UK Masters thing, the overall skill level of teams, I think, is significantly higher than it's been in the past for any other UK tournament. I actually think, like, Bulldogs, was a middle-tier team, and they've been kind of getting crushed, not only in qualifiers, but as we saw in this last week. So I think in terms of overall skill level of the scene, it's actually dramatically improved. So I think some of the teams that used to be quite good might be struggling, Bulldogs being one of them. I'd actually rate Bulldogs as arguably 6th or 7th, depending on how Phoenix performs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, guys. I'm a silver player. I'm just going to agree with you all.
Yeah, I think the Bulldog bot lane is like the best chance of like carrying IMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can like pop off and play consistently, then maybe like they can rise higher in the table, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think if they just get their draft sorted and like put Jet not on a carry jungler, I think they'll be fine. And then adhere to their bottom lane, right? Because that you got to, I think with a lot of these teams not being LCS level or like even see it, you could argue
what are you saying, dude?
You could argue some of these teams of players could be like CS level as well, definitely. Like obviously Toaster's been there and done that kind of thing. So I think it's going to come down to, and I said this on broadcast the other day, it's going to come down to a lot of comfort picks, and necessarily not necessarily all the time, because there are definite weak like laners, for example, in the meta right now. But like for Bulldogs specifically, if they tailor their draft around their bottom lane and put Jet on a more supportive role in terms of jungling, you look at someone like Origin's roster right now, Zanny plays Ivan only. Like it seems like he plays Ivan only.
But would it get banned?
Yeah, like, well, that's the thing, right? But I regardless of that, if it gets banned, they need to put him on more of a supportive carry rather than just like straight up, right, I'm going to go, I'm going to go Nidalee, I'm going to go something really aggressive like Kha'Zix. You put him on a Gragas maybe, or you put him on the Ivan, and then just focus facts and raisins, and then just try and get them ahead, and then work from there, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree. So next up then, guys, we've got Enclave Dawn. So this is your team, Joe. So obviously it's hard for you to talk about these guys, but I think you did well. You lost the first game, but you came back well. Won the second game.
I think we surprised a lot of people, to be honest. Like I know Daruk was saying earlier how Bulldogs took till the 4th week to qualify, and so did we. But I think like Radix are a good team, and I think we definitely showed up in the second game. If we can just like work on our consistency, I think we can finish in the like upper half of the table. Obviously, I want to say finish first, but it's a lot of competition, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've got some good players in there. Scudsy, yourself, Diva. How's it been bringing in Nightmares and Igloo were sort of last-minute changes, right, Joe?
Yeah, so Nightmares is obviously, he's really sick. He's like a Dutch Challenger support player. And we've just been like playing duo queue and scrims and stuff, and we've been like meshing really, really well. we've been like winning bot lane and killing them 2v2 and stuff. With regards to Igloo, I think he's a really, really strong UK top laner. I think he was like no one really knew about him before we picked him up. So I think he's like willing to prove himself and see how good he can be.
Is he going to pick Nunu for us with that name?
Let's hope so. I want to see some full AP
Nunu top. God damn.
Oh,
that'd be
but
sick.
I think he's really solid. He's been showing up in game and in scrims as well. So we'll see how it goes. And
arguably that was a tough first match as well, right? Because I don't want to talk too much about Radix till we get onto them, but Kirito I think picked a Kale, which although he didn't have a great KDA, he was just causing trouble with.
I get
CS
nightmares
and
about that Kale.
I think most of the UK has nightmares about split pushing in general. A lot of teams don't seem to know how to. Yeah, exactly. Teams don't know how to kind of deal with that scenario, and that honestly leaves Radix in a really good position because he reminds me of Dan from OG.
I don't know why we didn't ban Kale.
Sick meme, dude.
Now, well, just sticking on Enclave then. What do you guys think, Daruk and Jaws? What do you think of Enclave's chances and maybe where they'll finish?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think Enclave is definitely the worst team, just because they have Joe. But, I actually think with the changes, I think their new top laner is an improvement over Prelude. I think Prelude was kind of the weakest link to that roster. Not saying he was bad, but I think he struggled in a lot of matchups, and his champ pool was sometimes an issue. That Alawi pick was unfortunate. But I'd say, like as we saw in the game against Nerd Rage, once they kind of get their groove and figure out how to play the game that they want to play, they're pretty successful. I think both times you guys have won your series, you went 1-1. It was mainly off of Scudzy playing a supportive jungler and then you popping off Joe. So that might be a similar strategy Bulldogs want to employ that you guys are kind of figuring out. So I'd say it's kind of hard for me to judge Enclave because I still haven't seen enough of Igloo or Nightmares to really get a good opinion on them. But I'd say it's easy to say they're middle of the pack. No offense, Joe. I'd say between 4th or 6th place, somewhere there.
Okay, that's really interesting because I actually put them as top 3. Just going on, just going on the fact that Scudzy is a really good jungler, and he's got a lot more time to practice now. But I think one of the things that Will mentioned, or Frozen Door mentioned during the broadcast the other day, was the fact that there's a lot of time now for a lot of these teams to actually play the game. So that kind of helps. I mean, Scudzy, he's just finished his degree. He got a 2-1, by the way. If anybody didn't know, it was on Twitter. Yeah, what on the 2-1. And it's, it's absolutely huge being able to play the game, scrim a lot more and whatnot. So I think a lot of these teams have got room to gel together. Like you said, Joe, you're gelling with Nightmares a lot more now, which is really cool to hear. And I think, if Scudzy played things like Ivan again, I think it's really going to help out because Ivan, I think, is straight busted right now. And especially the crappy start that he had on the game that you won. He almost got 3-buffed by Nidalee and then just 3-buffed him. That was
it was a nice recovery from Scudzy
though. Complete disrespect from that Nidalee though. Not respecting the up and being able to actually 3-buff is it's pretty insane. So Enclave, I think top 3 for sure. Depends going forward.
I'm going to play it safe with Enclave. I don't know in terms of predictions, but I'm going to say I expect them to finish top 4. I think they've got the potential to be top 3, top 4, definitely. I think anything lower than 4th, I think would be underperforming for them. I think you guys have got a good potential. Where in the top 4 is hard for me. It's hard to say at the moment. I think if you're on it every game, you can be right up there with the best of them, and I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm glad you guys qualified, but I think it's going to be a case of we'll sort of wait and see, but I do think top 4. What's the chat saying here, Daruk? They're saying that you're also the owner of SKT and the top laner for TSM. What's going on there?
Damn.
Oh, that's it.
I think
That is
someone
some
asked
legit
who I
achievement.
was. I think someone asked who I was. So it's kind of a no name, but then people started memeing.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
You're a
All
man
right.
of many talents, dude.
So, moving on to the next team then, guys. I've got XL Esports here. So, how did XL do in the first week? They won 2-0 against Barrage. So, yeah, that was it seemed to be quite a comfortable
Yeah.
performance. And for me, XL have got some experienced players in there, Shikari, Inax, Orcs, and players like that. How do you feel those guys will do? Bearing in mind, Doruk, you're with XL, and Joe, you were with XL. So, bearing that in mind, you've got attachments to them.
Yeah. Let Daruk start since he's the
Okay.
coach.
Will do. I think, again, I'm biased, so I do think we're definitely a top 2 team. Like, I guess worst case scenario, top 3. I think top 3 is like worst case. At the moment, there's been quite a few roster changes. We were still trialing junglers until like last week. Our mid laner Backlund had to leave because he got picked up by a Turkish Challenger Series team. So we got Krumel last second. But I think the guys have been meshing together pretty well. Honestly, I think Inax and Shikari have really kind of stepped up their performance, especially Inax. I think after that 3-0 land kind of thing against Eminem for ESL Prem, it kind of triggered them a bit. And they really stepped up their game in terms of their own individual performances. So I'm expecting them to be stronger. I think they've looked stronger than they were on Xenix. So I think like we actually have a pretty good shot to win the entire thing.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. Because you faced Barrage 2-0'd. It wasn't too tough for you, but now you've got Eminem next week, which is going to be kind of the true test, right? And I think yeah, exactly. See how it goes. Like, yeah. Oh man, I don't want to okay, so I think you've got a really good shot, yes, but like Eminem are looking straight fire right now. Just going off that first week performance, they're looking very good, and I don't know if you guys can take both the games off, and I think it's going to be a very close 2 games and maybe ending on 1-1, but it will be your toughest opposition, arguably.
Yeah, I think so. I think I hope it's a close game because I think it's very possible for us to just get 2-0 stomped. I also think if Eminem kind of trolls like they have a habit of doing at times, it can also be a 2-0 for us. But yeah, I think this is kind of the benchmark to see how the rest of the season plays out in terms of rankings, right? Because if we see, I think that's like a good way to see what level teams are at. The Eminem versus XL game, especially.
And Joe, what about you? I'm wearing my journalist hat here. Are you going to be out for revenge?
I mean, honestly, I've got like quite a few friends in XL, so I'm like rooting for them to do well, especially against Eminem. I hope they can. Obviously, Eminem have been winning it for like the past few splits, so I hope they can cause an upset. Yeah, I think the main strength of XL is probably like their bot lane and their mid laner. I know, as you're saying, like Inax he's stepped up a lot. He's playing a lot of solo queue now that he's finished with uni. I don't know what was he doing before, but he's been playing a lot more. Yeah, he's looking really strong, and obviously I played with Orcs before. I know he's good, and the new mid laner Kreml, he looks really strong as well. He was in CSQ as well, I believe. So he's decent.
Millennium.
Yeah, so I think you've definitely got a good shot at winning it and coming top 2.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so sorry, Doruk and Jules, did you mention your predictions for XL?
Yeah, I think top 3 again.
Yeah,
top 3 for sure.
We'll see.
I'm going to say top 2.
All depends on the Eminem game.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be. I really hope we're not 3rd. I'll say top 2. That's it.
I'm going to go with a top 3 as well. I think it's hard to pick an actual number, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go with
triggered.
There's some good teams in here, and on that note, moving on to the next one, we've got Eminem Gaming, who picked up Toaster and Rifty's team. And they've got some good players in there. Candy Floss, who was with them before and left just before the Challenger Series qualifiers. Energy in the mid lane, and a support player called Adam, who, when I said to Rifty I hadn't heard of him before, he said, "Oh, it's probably because he changes his names a million times because he's toxic as hell."
Wait, is it I'm best support? AKA Adam.
That's Adam. That's Adam.
Is it him? Yeah, he's really
support,
good.
yeah.
Him and Toaster are gonna tear up the scene.
And I have to say, I enjoyed the match.
Super strong bot lane.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that match the other day. They played against Phoenix. I thought they looked quite dominant, and there were times where Phoenix fought back pretty well. There was one video I pushed out, a Twitch clip that was like a team fight, which is like over a minute long. It was just a crazy UK.
Oh, that was... I cannot believe you clipped that one, by the way. That was the worst team fight I've ever casted in my life. It triggered me so hard. It was like, point, oh god, please.
There was a double flash at one point that was like, no disrespect to the players because they're 10 a million times better than me, but that's the kind of things I see in my elo, you know. I do.
Yeah.
I panic and I flash all over the place. So, but that regardless, that was a one-off. I think Eminem again are looking quite strong. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think just going on the kind of big names, you kind of look down the roster and go, okay, so who's good and who like matches up against them coming into the entire season. You're going, okay, so Rifty's like top laner in the tournament. Candy Floss, very good jungler. Like Energy, Norwegian like superstar. I think, you know, Toaster's had all the experience in the world when it comes to CS and LCS, just literally everything. And I think overall, that honestly, I think they're the favourites to win, definitely. And I think they've got a lot of interesting kind of styles to them as well, because I know Energy kind of likes split pushing with the new Kassadin. And Rifty's just really aggressive as well. And I think if people buckle under their pressure that Energy and Rifty can put out, and I don't think people are going to stand a chance. And Toaster's just going to kind of be left to do his own kind of thing. And then we'll just scale up and start one-bagging people, like with Caitlyn or Jhin or something. So it's going to be a really interesting season, but they're definitely, in my opinion, the favourites to win, just going on the raw talent and names on there.
Yeah. I think the thing with Eminem is they've got, like, no weaker players. Like, every single role is, like, the top of the scene. They're super, super strong. So, yeah, especially with, like, Energy coming in now, he's really good. Bot lane's super good. Rifty's like a god as well, and Candy Floss is really good. So it's, yeah, I think they're gonna finish first. Honestly, it's gonna be super hard for anyone to beat them, but you know, it could happen. We'll see.
Yeah, I think across the board, all their players are top 2, top 3 in the entire league. Especially, like, I think maybe support wise he's top 3, but the rest of their players are top 2 for sure. I think the biggest weakness of Eminem, maybe, I don't even like that's not even a confirmed fact, right? Is they probably don't play that much, because I know in the past Eminem has kind of had a habit of not scrimming too much until the last half of like the split. So that might be a potential opening point again for teams to take games off of them, is them just not, you know, being too comfortable playing together. But past that, it's just, you know, they're really fucking good. So there's not much more to add to that.
Yeah, I agree, guys. I think I'm going to say top 2 for Eminem. And I just want to say, yeah, sorry to Adam as well. In the Twitch chat, there's loads of memes going on. I don't know who this is, don't know who that is now. But
he's got so many names.
I've heard of
I'm best his name like every week.
Yeah, this is the thing. And I'm going to drill this home, guys. I'm going to make another point here. Players, please stop changing your names, because it's really hard to keep track of who's who. I know, George, you would. Toaster's changed his name, right? You were having to say. I can't even remember what his new name is.
Oh, he's Bang Fanboy now.
Yeah, Bang Fanboy.
You're calling him Bang. That triggered me super hard.
I was just calling him Bang because it's so much. Trust me, it's so much easier when you're casting, especially really quick team fights and shit, just to say the name on the screen rather than the actual name of the player. Like.
Yeah, and I know why you were doing that.
Or like just had their own names on or just a random account or whatever, but it's whatever.
Okay, so moving on to the next team, guys. We've got Nerd Rage Pro, another strong team. So they've got a mix of players, obviously Prosfair and Artorias in the support and top lane. They've got Nutri and Jungle, who's a UK veteran, always seems to be retiring, but never actually does. And I don't want him to retire either. I think he's obviously a great player. Kakan in the mid lane, and an ADC. I don't know if this is fully up to date. Hedgeson Sven, the ADC.
Yeah.
Sven, sorry.
Is he still the AD carry though?
He is.
He is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's really fucking good too. I think he's probably the best player on the team besides maybe Kakan. He's really good.
And obviously Nerd Rage picked up their win this week, 2-0 against Bulldog. How do you think they did, guys? We talked about Nutri, didn't we? How do you think the team did in the other positions?
Nutri, in that series anyway, Nutri looks like a standout player. And I think Rippo was playing ADC for them that week, so we didn't actually get to see Sven. Yeah, or however you say his name. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he plays next week. I'm also interested to see how Nutri does against like some of the best junglers in the Masters. So like Candy Floss and like Scudzy, of course. It'll be interesting to see.
I'll just say on that note really quickly, guys, I think Whippo, I don't think he's going to be playing any more in the UK Masters, because I heard that apparently it was in his contract with his other team that he shouldn't be playing in other leagues. I've spoken to Riot about this before, and players are allowed to play for like a Challenger Series team and UK Masters, because UK Masters isn't classed technically as a professional league like LCS or whatever. But I don't think he's going to be playing in there. Doruk, are you still there?
Oh, I think he's dropped.
He's got a funny picture on the screen at least. So
it's just gone.
He's got his sunglasses on and a tongue poking out. So we'll try and get him. Hopefully he'll restart his computer.
Come back to us, Doruk.
Try and come back. But yeah. Sorry guys. What are your thoughts on like the rest of the roster?
I think Prosfer's good. He's like consistently been like one of the best supports in the UK. But he's never like quite reached the top, like the best support in the UK, but he'll be like wanting to prove himself, especially with a quality ADC like Svene. It'll be interesting to see how they do together. I think I was saying before, like Nutri is a bit of like a unknown factor. Obviously he performed really well this week, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. I think like the weak link of that team is probably Artorias. I think he might struggle against like Rifty and some of the better top players in the UK scene. But he's still good, so we shall see. And I don't know about Kakan, to be honest. I've never seen him play, so I assume he's good.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think a lot of the team relies on Nutri doing well, because if he falls behind at any one point, I think their team might struggle a little bit. Like you said, maybe in the top lane, they'll struggle, especially if the jungler's behind. The top lane just turns into an absolute fiesta and can either go one of two ways. You can either just get dunked and you've received no help from your jungler, or you can kind of stay even, hopefully, and hope their jungler doesn't come up there and abuse the fact that your jungler's behind. But I think Nutri's good enough to carry them, especially through the early stages of the game. Just going on, obviously, his Nidalee play and how he just kind of takes over the jungle
super
already.
Good. So
exactly. His pathing's really good, and I think he's got a good chance. Again, it just comes down to where he focuses and where he puts a lot of his attention, in terms of like pathing and in terms of where he wants to gank early and pressure early as well. So yeah, I think Nutri's got the capability to carry the team in that regard. But yeah, I think they'll do pretty well.
Where do you think they'll finish?
Hello?
Oh, hello, mate.
I can hear you.
All right, great.
Can't see you though.
Good. Oh, you cannot? Okay.
No.
Just got you doing this.
I'll just, while you're setting up,
better?
Doruk, I'll just say in the chat, because Prosfer's saying there's a lot of misinformation around the Whippo case. And yeah, what I've heard is speculation and rumours as well, so I don't know the full story. I was the case of not doing anything, but then if he, like, if his actual other org put out a statement, then I'd do something on it, but it's too up in the air. As I understand it, it's been sorted out anyway, someone told me the other day, so that's kind of why I left it. So
I mean, I assume they wouldn't let him play without inquiring with the org first, right?
True.
That would be a bit unprofessional, but yeah, obviously I don't know the full story, so
No, that's fine. What would your predictions be, guys, for Nerd Rage in the sort of league table at the end?
I think they'll be mid-table. I think they'll be battling it out for like 4th or 5th. Yeah.
It depends.
That's
If
what I
Nucci
think.
can 1v9 every week,
It does.
That's not going to happen though. You can't just rely on your jungler 1v9ing. I think on a good day they could probably hit top 3, maybe, and I'm like 3rd place maybe. But I do think they're a more middle of the pack team at the moment. I think 4th place would be really good for them, and probably about average for them, honestly.
yeah.
Actually,
Doruk, I can't get your webcam, but happy to have you on. We can still hear you, and we've got a picture of you, a funny picture of you.
All right, I'll start Skype after this real quick. But I think Nerd Rage is going to be top 3, top 4. I actually think they are pretty good. I think the weakest part of the team is Artorias.
Yeah,
for sure. I think he's got a very bad habit of some inconsistency, having coached him and having coached Nerd Rage for a small amount of time before I left for Excel. But I'd say like the biggest strength of that team is their bot lane. I think Prosper and Sven are an insanely talented duo, and they can probably crush teams off of their bot lane. I think Kakan's also pretty good. Like, he was on the roster that qualified for Wind and Rain, I believe. He used to be with Wind and Rain before they picked up Supa, fucking whoever their new mid laner is, Scarlet Red Hands. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
that guy.
So he used to be on
That's
that
right, yeah.
roster. So he's got some experience, and I think he's a pretty good mid laner. I think if they can play to the best of their ability, I think they will be a top 3 team. But if they kind of fall to their inconsistencies, which is one of their bigger issues with that roster, definitely 4th or 5th. I don't see them placing lower than that, though. All right, with that, I'm going to be right back and see if I can get Skype working.
All right, cool.
All right.
No worries. So if we
Good luck
go on
with
to the next team, guys, Radix Esports. I think this is an interesting one because they were originally Arctic Storm, I think. Were they Arctic Storm?
They moved Orcs, didn't they? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I can see you again, Daruk.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
There he is. He's
back.
Well,
Awesome.
back.
Great.
So yeah, they're the original free money organisation, which has been the most talked about meme, I think, in UK League of Legends for quite a while. Carito, their top laner, saying that he thinks the UK scene's free money, and it's interesting because we'll see, if that's true or not now. They drew 1-1 with you guys, Joe, this week. I was quite impressed with Carito. I think he's played well in qualifier matches, and also I like the Kale. They've got Demo in the jungle, Fury in mid lane, Berserker ADC, and support player Snuggly. So they've got a mix of sort of experienced players in there as well. And I really like Demo as a jungler. What do you guys think?
I think Radix
My computer just crashed, I think. Wait, give me a sec.
Man,
That's
we're
right.
having some issues.
10 out of 10.
We can hear you, but it's just your picture again.
Okay. I'll try and start my webcam. Jesus.
I think Radix is probably, God, they're like the dark horse for me because I think they can be really good or they can be really, really bad. I think a big issue for that team is tilt. I think I know Demo and Lemo, Berserker, have pretty, coin flippy attitudes in terms of how they perform. And I think we kind of saw that even in that 1-1 series where Demo pretty much just hard into the game just from level 1 on Italy. And I know their bot lane I think there's like a big skill discrepancy between their AD carry and support. I think Snuggly actually performed really well in this last week, but I think historically he's had a weaker showing as a UK support. And I think Lemo is used to be, I think he's like a 100 LP master. I think he could probably tilt it to D1, but he's pretty good. So I think a big issue for that team is that there's just a lot of different styles and attitudes. I think Carito likes playing split pushers, plays kind of off meta champions, and so communicating with all these different players and attitudes can really be a challenge for that team, I believe. So if they're on point, they can be really good, but I think that there's going to be a lot of internal issues in terms of like how they're going to be doing their drafts. Oh, do we want a first pick KO or whatever? I think it could be an issue for them further along the line.
I just want to say really quickly, Prosper, you're right. In the Twitch chat, they were Arctic Storm. Nerd Rage were Arctic Storm before Radix picked up Lotus Gaming, I think it was. So yeah, just clearing that up. And Jaws, your thoughts on Radix?
I think Kirito's quite easily banned out. I think he's a good player, and he plays the Kale, which is a bit of a, like you said, Joe, is a bit of a nightmare for you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Gives you nightmare feel. Yeah. It's quite terrifying, and I think a good point that was touched upon during the cast was the fact that a lot of the UK right now doesn't seem to know how to deal with split push, and he does that very well in that sense. But again, he can be easily kind of banned out, right? I think the bottom lane as well. I think the bottom lanes actually in the whole tournament are just fairly consistent. I think actually in terms of roles, I think the bottom lane for everybody is going to be the closest. In terms of roles in general, I think Berserker played fairly well, but I think Kirito is kind of their shining star. He's going to be a hit or miss kind of. If he hits, he's going like 10-0 and is going to like trounce the whole game and just solo carry. But if not, then he might be a bit more of a liability to his team than anything else, because at the moment we've only seen one style from him, and that's the split push. But I want to see more of a more of a carry role, but like non-carry, not like Fiora or anything that just sits on the side and then comes in to clean up the team fight, but more of a team fight carry orientated, and then we can kind of see from there.
Prosper's made a good point. Just something for you guys to mull over while we chat about the next org as well, is he wants us to come up with their top 3 players in each role.
Oh yes, I want to do this.
So we'll do that at the end.
Let's cause some drama, boys.
We'll do that at the end, but just you can have thinking about it in the back of your mind. But your thoughts quickly, Joe, on Radix as a whole and where you think they'll finish.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, I think Kirito has like the potential to completely pop off and carry the game. But I think contrary to that, like you're saying, like he also has a limited champion pool. I think like banning the KO. If teams do that, it will limit his potential quite a lot. I'm not sure if he plays like other like meta split pushers like Fiora and like Kennen and Kled and stuff. So yeah, that'll remain to be seen, I guess. Like for the rest of the map though, I think Demo is solid. Fury looks solid as well. Their bot lane looks solid. I think the week. Okay, what was that?
That was my doorbell.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I think like the weaker point of the team is like the bot lane. I think against us, Demo played really Lemo, but he's changed his name to Berserker. Oh my god, I can't keep up with all these
Lemon
name
Knight,
changes.
isn't it? That's another one.
I think like Berserker's super good, but I don't think Snuggly's quite as good. So that might make the bot lane like a bit weaker. But Kirito definitely is like the standout player on that team for me.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's. I was going to stop myself saying a bad pun then that popped into my head. You said Snuggly not as good, but I was going to say at least he is quite a snuggly chap. But let's move on really quickly, guys. Thanks. So Phoenix, they're the last team. They're the team we haven't spoken about yet. They moved into League of Legends after acquiring the roster known as Randoms V3, or Randoms as it's pronounced with those weird umlauts and things above it. So, yeah, they had like a weird rock and roll sort of announcement video, which I thought was quite interesting.
It was awesome, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. Very loud. But going through their roster then, we've got Kerberos in the top lane. I really rate Kerberos. I think I get the impression a lot of people think he's a sort of average player in the UK scene. I kind of disagree. From what I've seen of him, okay, I've watched him play in the National University Esports League where the standards are lower than UK Masters and ESL Prem, but he carried his team to victory in all 3 games in the final. It was an amazing performance as Jax. He's a split pushing person as well. I rate Kerberos. And in jungle you've got Viking, Nuff in the mid lane, Rabstar, ADC and Ewok support.
It's my boy Nuff. I played on a Norwegian team with him for a few months. I think he's good.
Yeah, so I mean Eminem beat them 2-0, but M&M, like we've said, are the strongest or one of the strongest teams in this split. So, what are your thoughts on Phoenix, guys? Bearing that in mind.
I think Kerberos is good, but again, it's lol. I think it's comes down to like, okay, he's a split pusher, which is really good in what seems to be the UK meta, but can he do anything else is the kind of question. Can he devolve from that style and then play a team fighting top laner, play someone that's going to teleport flank, play someone that's going to actually join 5v5 rather than just sit at top lane with a Jax and just split push every single game. Like I do think he's a good player and he's fairly good and competent in lane. He's not going to feed his ass off basically. But yeah, I think again Phoenix need to kind of play around that, or they need to be able to make sure he can play other champions and not have his KO banned out, because that's going to happen every single game, because the pick and bans, especially in the UK Masters, are going to be more targeted than anything else. You're going to have the Zac ban, yes, but most of the time you are going to ban out KO. You're going to ban out, someone like Fiora because XYZ is good at that champion. I think the rest of the squad is good from what I've seen. I don't know too many of those players, to be fair, so I'll have to take you guys' word on it. But from what I've seen, I think they're good. But M&M being the toughest of opposition, I guess in that regard, we haven't seen too much of them yet because they're against arguably the best team in the league.
Yeah, and I'll just say quickly as well, like Kerberos, I think he was 5-0 as Warwick in that game. He kind of caught Rifty off guard a bit.
Yeah.
So
he was like the only person positive KDA in that game.
Yeah, so. And I thought he was really good as Jax. I've seen him play a few games as Jax where he was good. So I think he can do it. But you're right, Jaws. The team have to play around his strengths. Otherwise, he got halfway through that game and it just couldn't carry the other lanes.
Yeah. His team were too far behind.
Yeah, I think also he's got like a limited champion pool as well. Like I know he plays like really weird, like off meta stuff, like Kayle, Darius, Warwick as well. I haven't actually seen him play like any actual meta stuff, so I don't know how he does on that. And also tanks, I haven't seen him play like any tanks. So yeah, I think his champ pool might be a bit limited, but we'll see.
Does a lot of theory
throughout the course of the season. Yeah, he loves his theory crafting.
Yeah.
I know some people in the UK scene that love their theory crafting.
Maybe that could be an article or a focus one day. Crazy theory crafting. Like I'd be happy to do that if anyone wants to contact me. Doric, what are your thoughts on Phoenix?
I pretty much Jaws kind of summed it up. Is I just don't know that many of their players, to be honest. So I don't actually. It's hard for me to even gauge the strength of that team. I think Kerberos is good. I think one of his biggest strengths is that he has such a unique champ pool that a lot of teams will have difficulty, like who plays Warwick top, right? Like when does that come up? So it's one of those things where I think he's got a bit of a cheese factor going for him. I think Rapstar has historically looked pretty weak, but I think he's been climbing pretty hard in solo queue, and I think depending on how he measures with Ewok, they could be a pretty solid bot lane. And then Viking enough, like, I don't know. So they seemed okay against M&M. They put up a bit of a fight. Like, it was a sloppy game, I think, on both ends. And M&M ended up kind of, it was still pretty one-sided, 2-0. So it's actually really difficult for me to gauge Phoenix because, like, that game was not really, I don't think, indicative of how good of a team they could possibly be, because I think most games against M&M are going to be like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd say maybe they're good, maybe they're not so good.
Well,
I can't really give you anything.
I like, obviously, I think Kerberos is really good. Again, I don't know enough about the other players, but if I had to pick a prediction, I'm going to say bottom 3, but I'd like them to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think so too, but they've got quite a lot of like new players. Like Rabstar, for example, I haven't seen him play that much. What I've heard is that he's like a Kalista one trick. So maybe just ban Kalista against him. But
didn't he play in ESL Prem?
I don't know.
The name rings a bell.
I could have sworn he did.
Yeah.
He's saying
I think he's good though.
But there's no subs on this channel, Rabstar. So.
And like I said with Nuff, I played on a Norwegian team with him for a while. I think he's super solid. He was going to play for Enclave, if we didn't pick D.Va. So yeah, I think he's good. I don't know about Viking. I haven't heard of him before. Is he a challenger jungler?
I think he's like master challenger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I assume he's going to be good. But yeah, like you said, I think like bottom 3.
All right then, guys. So, is there anything else? We've still got sort of 10 minutes or so left. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on to our top 3 in each position?
I think we just go on to the top 3.
Okay.
Top 3.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go round first, okay?
Oh,
I'm gonna
let me get a notepad out.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to keep track of everything so I don't
Top,
forget.
jungle, mid, AD carry, support. Alright, let's start with top lane. Daruk, what do you think, mate?
I think it's top 3. I don't want to rank them because I actually think on different days, you know, one might outclass the other. But top's actually easy. I think the easiest role is Rifty, Shikari, and Karito. I don't think anyone else is at their level.
Should we agree as a group on our top 3s? I think that might be easier rather than having 4 separate top 3s in every single position.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I definitely agree with Rifty and Karito, and then the third I'm sort of open.
I think
I agree.
Shikari fits there.
See, I don't agree with that. I think Igloo is gonna take everyone by surprise. He's actually a beast. Like,
Okay.
That's going to be hard. See, if we pick the top 3, we'll have to go with Shikari because you're on a good team.
But like, none of you have seen him play properly. Like,
No,
obviously you don't
exactly.
watch our scrims and stuff, but he's
True.
super good. Like, he wins most matchups and stuff.
You could say we do a top 3 now and then a top 3 in like 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
That makes sense, right? Or like halfway through the season, say what, like week 4, and then at the end of the season, we can see who actually comes out on top.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we want to do notable mentions as well, we can put Igloo in there because I'd like to put Kerberos in there. Some people might laugh at me, but I think he did well up against Rifty the other day, 5-0, and I rate the guy, so I'm going to look out for him.
I think Igloo is like a bit of an unknown factor, and it'll be interesting to see how he does. But personally, I think he's super good, and I think he's going to be like Rifty, Karito, and then Igloo, I think.
It's fair one.
Okay, cool.
We'll see.
We'll put Shikari in the 3 in place of Igloo for now, but then put him in brackets or something, Joe. And
the honourable mention.
Send us this list afterwards, and I'll publish it out on Twitter and stuff.
Okay.
So jungle, I think Scudzy. For me, it's Scudzy, Jet,
Nutri. I wouldn't say Jet.
Actually,
what about
maybe not Jet.
Nutri, Candy.
I like Candy Floss.
You don't think?
Oh, this is a hard one. This is a hard one for me. You guys go.
Candy. I think everyone's agreed on Candy.
Yeah, Candy.
Scudzy as well.
See, I like Demo.
I'd say Taxer and Demo, honestly, but Taxer unbiased, so I can't. You can count that out. But I think Demo is actually really good when he's not being a chimp.
Yeah,
he just needs to work on that.
So we're all agreed on
because
Scudzy.
I think I've only seen Scudzy do well when he's like playing Ivern.
Okay.
I think Scudzy's top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
I
think
I'm biased.
put him in. He's been so consistent over the ESL splits and things.
And he's only going to get better as well.
I watched him on stream the other day, and he was like 11-0 as Rek'Sai or something within 20 minutes.
Yeah, guy's a beast.
So if we go for him, who should we put in the other? Candy Floss. I want to put Candy in because I think
everyone's agreed on Candy.
Yeah.
But then
I think for second place, it's kind of a toss-up between a few junglers like Taxa, Scudzy, Demo,
Nutri.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good jungle talent in this league, so it's actually kind of hard for me to put top 3. I would say Scudzy, Candy, and Taxer if we're going with Scudzy. I think I'd put Demo over Scudzy, but man, it's actually
it is really
I think
hard.
it's better if we do it in tiers. So like S tier would be Candy, and then like A is like Scudzy, Taxa, in no particular order.
See, I'm
Demo,
not sure.
Nutri.
Scudzy and Candy, I see them equally or maybe Scudsy a little bit.
And Viking could actually be good too. I don't know though.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we don't even know Barrage's jungler because they just
It's Daddy Fred.
left.
Daddy
Yeah,
Fred.
but has he played at all?
No.
Well,
it's actually super hard.
Joe, don't worry too much about putting them in order. If we just have top 3, like 3 people, because that jungle I think might be too. For the third one, like, I'd be happy to put in Demo, but Nucci played really well as well, and you're saying Taxa as well, Daruk. I don't know who to go for there.
Maybe we should do it on like solo queue rating, in which case it'd be Taxa.
I think Taxa. I think wait, yeah, Nutri and Scuds are both diamond, so it would be Taxer. But I mean, that's like I don't know if that's a good way to gauge. I guess if that's a tiebreaker scenario, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think they're all like equally good, and we'll have to see.
So we've got Scudsy and Candy in there, right? We agreed on those two. So for the third, why don't we do a vote?
Let's do it.
So okay, let's go first then. So Taxa.
I vote for Taxer.
Right, so we've got 2 there.
Again.
George, do you? What about Demo? See, because I'm leaning more towards Demo now.
I think over Taxa. I think Demo. Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to just put either one in, Joe? I don't mind who you put in, but the other one put in as
Demo. You can just do Demo. I've got bias for Taxer.
Just do Taxa / Demo, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you put Demo in, then Taxa is a brackets.
But obviously, this is only week 1, so
exactly.
It could all change. It's all to play for.
Okay, so mid lane.
Mid lane.
This one that's actually mid lane. It's a lot of good mid lane.
I think Energy, Kremel, and Kakan.
Yeah, I'd definitely go with Energy and Kakan. And the others, I don't know them well enough because there's a lot of new ones in there.
Yeah, I'd agree. Energy, definitely. Kakan, yes. And I think Kremel, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Energy, Kremel, Kakan.
I'm happy to go with that, but I do think there's some other good mid laners in there as well. I think Moon's had like some good performances in qualifiers and things, so I mean Diva's good as well, so
Diva is good. He pops off a lot. It'll be interesting to see how he does against the other good mid laners.
Alright, so we got our 3 there though, Joe.
Yep, that's good.
So next one, ADC.
Oh. Alright. I'm going to start this one. So I think, without a doubt, it has to be Toaster first.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah.
And this is where it gets interesting. I think that's Svene guy.
Sven? Sven is really good.
Yeah, see, I don't know him well enough to form an opinion. The ADCs, I have to say, I'm the worst ADC in the world. I'm below wood tier, so I'll probably stay out of this one, I think. But
yeah,
I'm biased as well, Joe, because you've been a big supporter of EN UK over the years, so I'd probably put you in there anyway. So it's hard for me to pick,
Yeah.
Toaster definitely.
Yeah, Toaster's Vene.
Toaster for sure.
I think a lot of people would say Inax next.
Inax, and I'd actually put you, Joe.
Yeah, like I'd put me
and
and Inax at the same level, honestly. Having played against him in solo queue, played against him in previous seasons of UK ESL. Yeah. And I think watching him last week as well, like he didn't perform that good. I mean, they got 2v2'd by Fax and Raisins a few times. But yeah, we'll see.
I think Inax is good as well. The chat, some of the chat are spamming Rabstar in caps as well. So
that's Rabstar.
Ban Rabstar's Callista and then...
Yeah, I mean, Rabstar's Callista is really good. I think
I haven't
everything
seen
else
it. I haven't seen his Callista. I heard it's good.
I think I'd agree. I think I'm going to say Inax because, I coach Inax, and then I'm going to say Joe because I coach Joe. I think they're both really good. I think it's hard to kind of gauge because I think also a lot of the success of an AD carry is based off their support too, especially in laning. So a lot of performances can kind of be hampered or affected by that.
So who are we going with, guys? Who are the three?
Toaster, Inax.
Toaster, Zvene, and Inax or me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4.
Okay. Put one in brackets.
Wait, am I thinking of the wrong team? Wait, let me have a look. XL versus... Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong team. I think I'm thinking of the wrong team. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Ox. I remember Inax. What was it, Inax?
Inax is on Xenix. With Prospect.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I've put him down as XL. Has he changed then?
Well, yeah, he's XL now.
So
but
Inax is on XL
previously
now.
he was
on Xenix.
Yeah.
Xenex, yeah.
Yeah, I rate Inax. I really do. So
Maybe I think I'm getting mixed up.
So hang on. Who are our three? Joe or
Let's go with Toaster, Zvene, and Inax then.
And then I'd put
I think
you
that
as a
works.
notable.
All right, let's put me as a
So
notable.
who we missed out there? Berserker.
Not in top 3. I don't think.
I
I think he's okay.
Okay. All right. So support players then. I don't know. Again, the barrage guy, Yuri the dog. I don't know him that well. It's hard to say again. Support.
Say Prosper, Adam, and Dan.
I think Orcs is good as well.
Yeah, the Ox, Dan.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Detto, Orcs, and Prosper.
I think, yeah, like Adam is definitely first. Wait, is his name Detto now?
Wait, you think Adam is first?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's super good when he's not
I think
insane.
he's third. I think it's. I can't. I don't want to judge between Tom and Dan or Prosper and Ox because they're both gonna get on my ass for it. But I think they're both better than Adam. But I think Adam,
when Adam's like on his A game and he's not like hard ending running down mid, I think he's super good.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting because obviously he hasn't played much in the UK scene. He's been playing in like Spanish scene and Italian scene, hasn't he? Oh my God! I forgot Nightmares. Dude, Nightmares is a beast. He's challenger.
What is it?
Do you think he's better than the other 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Are we leaving Raisins out of this? Because I thought he did well in the ESL UK last split. Where was it? Which team was he with? I can't remember.
Was he on a team? I thought he took a break, didn't he?
Did they? He was playing for Choke and they didn't qualify.
Really?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of then? Oh, I'm thinking of the split before that. Sorry, TCA. He did well with TCA and Deadly, didn't he? Okay.
Wait, was that Adam? That was Raisins.
Raisins. Sorry, that's who I meant. Yeah, Raisins.
Yeah. So I think I'd put like. Honestly, I think I'd put Nightmares first. He's super good, but you guys haven't seen him play yet.
No, yeah, we haven't. So I don't think it'd be fair for us to. Well, so who were the other two? The other 3?
Adam, Orcs,
Prosper.
Yeah.
And Nightmares, I think, are the top 4 at the moment. And then would we put Nightmare? I don't know enough about Nightmares to rate him over the other 3. Yeah. But I kind of trust Joe's judgment on this because he's the actual ADK player that's played with the support.
I mean, I played with all of them.
So if you rate him as the highest, then I'll go off your judgment.
So should we go with...
well, he's also like really high in solo queue as well compared to the others. So I mean, like solo queue obviously doesn't mean everything, but he's very good, Imo.
So top coaches then, Slip, number 1.
Oh, God. Nice meme.
Nice meme, Dom.
Yeah, I think that's a good, well-rounded thing. Like, do you guys want to add anything else? I mean, it's really good that we've come up with a sort of top 3. Happy to publish that out.
Can I put this in chat, Dom? That's these rankings.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
You can even, you can paste them in chat, or you can send it to me, and I'll chuck it on the actual stream itself.
I'll put it in Skype. There you go.
Alright, cool. I'll push them out in a separate thing because it might be complicated if I try and do it now. I probably won't be quick enough, but I'll put them up in an article and link to this. I'll just say really quickly, guys, any questions in the Twitch chat? If you've got any questions for the guys here, I know we're over a little bit here, but we started a bit late because of my technical problems. we'll see if any come up in the next few minutes. But I'm looking forward.
I think it's going to be it's going to be super interesting. And like you said at the beginning, there's a lot more buzz around UK Masters this time. I don't know why. I think it's the drama, you know. Yes, yeah, I think it's the drama and the memes. They've been insane.
Who is Monk playing on a team? So see you guys on Monday.
His Monk LFT again, unfortunately. I think. Rest in peace, Monk.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I will say really quickly, I think on the drama stuff, guys, that it seems to be more accepted these days. I don't know what's happened, but if I put articles out about things, people don't, jump on me and say, "Oh, why are you doing that, Dom?" It seems like they want me to do it. When that slip thing happened,
it makes it exciting.
I wasn't really going to write about it because I thought, he's done a lot of this stuff, but I had loads of people DMing me and at me saying, "This has happened, Dom. Like, write about it now," kind of thing. So it's weird how the attitude's changed, you know. Okay, guys. So yeah, we've been here for an hour. I think good time to end. I'll put the top 3 up. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and watching. I will try and do these chats every week. I end up saying that and only doing them every 2 weeks, but I do my best with the time I've got and everything. And listen, thanks for coming on, guys, and sharing your views.
No problem.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I will have.
Wait, there's loads of questions in the chat.
There's some questions. Sorry, I'll just.
What was your favourite GIF?
So
Big Scoundrel slingshot.
Yeah, Zach slingshot.
Big Scoundrel's damn slingshot.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I agree.
God damn.
Jokerism. Who are you most excited to play against and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's from Cameron on Ian UK.
I think Nerd Rage next week or XL. Obviously, because I previously played with XL, I think I'm super excited for that game. And then Nerd Rage is probably like our main competition for like the top half of the table.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how we do against them. So yeah.
Guys, I've got to ask you this question. From I'm Best Support. He said, "How do you keep yourself in peak physical condition whilst still maintaining a strict league training regime to keep yourself one step ahead of every other ADC in the scene?"
Mate, I don't sleep. I have 2 hours sleep every night, and I'm playing solo queue 14 hours straight, and then strict physical activity for the other. And yeah, years of experience and practice, mate. That's it.
Nice. Okay. I've got one here from the Manimal. Who thanks, Manimal. You've watched a few of our streams, so cheers for that. He's asked me what's my favourite bit of drama to come out of Masters so far. And no, it wasn't the Tesco one for me. It was the free money, because I think Carito was clever what he did with that, because when he came out with it, the scene sort of jumped on him to begin with and said, "Oh, who's this guy?" You know, and kind of myself included. I was thinking, who's this guy? He's a bit of an ego, but when I interviewed him afterwards, I realised actually he seems like a nice guy, and he was just doing it for banter and to generate a bit of hype. And I think it's taught us a lesson that drama can generate hype. It doesn't have to be negative drama. It can be kind of positive drama, like people having a joke and stuff like that. And you know, he's performed pretty well so far as well in the qualifiers and the first game. So I think that's probably my favourite bit of drama, because after a while, everyone sort of warmed to him in the scene, you know. So that's for me. That's my sort of favourite bit of drama so far. I think that's it, guys. That seems to be all the questions, and we're over an hour and a bit. So thanks again, guys, for coming on board. And let's do this halfway through, or at the end of the split, we can review it and review the top 3.
I'm down to do it whenever, mate. Whenever.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming on, and cheers for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. See you soon.
Cheers.